Hey everyone, thanks so much and welcome back. It's always lovely. It's a joy to connect with you. I hope wherever you are today watching this video, you are feeling inspired about something in your life. If you're not, look, get creative. Find something to get excited about, things to look forward to. Today, I want to dive into a topic that I feel impacts many people and perhaps silently, and that is arrested development. Arrested development. When the body grows up, you're all grown up, driving your shiny Mercedes, BMW, Lexus, whatever. So all grown up that way, but the mind does not. The mind may still be in the realm 7-year old, 8-year old, 9-year old, 10-year old. It happens. It may not be a popular topic for a lot of folks, but that therein lies the problem. Sometimes we're focused on and talking about the wrong things. The content that I'm sharing, these topics that I bring to you, this is the underbelly to the underbelly of life, the engine, if you will. So it's a maintenance for the engine. And if the topic appeals to you, or you know someone you feel maybe struggling with arrested development, make sure you forward the video. Make sure they get in some shape, form, or fashion. So it's a problem, and I want to discuss what you can do about it. How do you know if you're suffering from arrested development, and what are the major steps really to conquer it, to overcome it? That's what this channel is about. This is a solution focused channel. I'm not on topics of hair, nails, makeup, whatever. That's interesting too, but this is where you come for solutions for your life. Want to share a story with you that really perfectly illustrates how arrested development can impair someone's life. This was a woman in her mid 50s, had been on a job for 5 or 6 years, and her coworkers, one of her coworkers had a dinner party. She got wind of it. They didn't invite the whole office, just some people they were close to. She thought that she was close enough to the host of this dinner party. She should have, of course, received an invitation. So she got wind of this party, was literally, first she threw a tantrum about not being invited, and then she was doubled over in sadness for a month or so. And it was very much the response of a 7 or an 8-year old. So I wasn't surprised to find out that, since she was a little girl, there were just these heavy patterns of rejection. And she said, I was just triggered. I was 8 years old and I wasn't invited to a classmate's party. I just never forgot being totally devastated by that. And I asked her, well, how did your parents walk you through that? What did they say? She was like, they never walked me through anything. That's the problem. I've been out here, I've had to figure things out by myself. There was just no support or guidance. And here's the thing, guys, this is where parenting is so crucial. It's just a crucial piece when we talk about how arrested development forms. What a parent would do, and what parents do is they model appropriate behavior in circumstances. They give a child an opportunity to practice based on the coaching and guidance that the parents give. And then they are validated. Parents will they'll validate a child. And when that doesn't happen, this is where you'll have people who are set adrift because in terms of their emotions, because that core guidance and that regulation and that study flow of, yeah, this is the way to do it, I'm going to give you some tools to handle it, it was never there. So I have a great deal of compassion for people who did not get that. My daughter is 6 years old. I'm literally, yes, I'm mom, but I'm also coaching, validating her, loving, guiding her. And believe me, we said what could be happening at 6. She has a little social life. She has a world. She's navigating the ups and downs, and I can so clearly see where if that guidance is not there, that advice, that shoulder to lean on, you just keep going. You just can keep going with a response that doesn't serve you. In the case of this woman, she was still decades later throwing that same temper tantrum, and it wasn't serving her. Can you imagine losing a month of your life because you're upset that you didn't get invited to a dinner party? So it happens all the time, and it has to do with those hurts, wounds from the past. So how do you know? How do you know if you are dealing with arrested development? I've said it before, I'll say it again. I think you can, if you feel the need, I don't condone it, but if you feel the need to kind of play games with other people and shade the truth, do what you need to do. But where it comes to yourself and your emotional well-being and the truth and walking light of truth, you cannot play games with yourself. I like to pare things down to a single question if I can. And depending on how you answer this question, you may or may not have some work to do in the area of arrested development. And that question is my emotional maturity serving as one of my closest allies in my day-to-day life? I'll say it again. Is my emotional maturity serving as one of my closest allies in day-to-day life? Your emotional maturity, if you think about a builder using hammer and nails, that is the equivalent of what emotional maturity is in your life. It's a tool. It's a powerful tool that you can ally with, really, to just have an amazing, wonderful, calm, and happy life. And it takes maturity to do that. If your rationale when you get hurt, upset, or wounded is that of a 5-year-old or a 7-year-old or an 8-year-old, you can imagine you're going to be unhappy like someone took your lollipop, and you're going to be triggered an awful lot. And many people that I've sat with and worked with over the years, if they're suffering from arrested development, they tell me, I feel like I'm constantly in these unpleasant emotional spirals. I'm triggered a lot. They'll also say, I feel guilty a lot over how I responded. And it's like, Sheila, it was automatic. I couldn't even catch myself. And I'll feel guilty for days. And then folks also tell me I'm not enjoying my relationships. And that's another byproduct. How can you enjoy relationships, the camaraderie, and all that can occur in relationships if you are literally stuck? We're talking about stuck emotionally at an age where you're responding immaturely, in a petty way. You took my candy, I want it back. It's really impossible to do. So this is why you'll see 13-year-olds sometimes have more maturity than a 40 or 50-year-old, because that foundation, a very different foundation, was laid. They had that modeling, they had that nurturing. So if you didn't get it, folks, there's no shame in it. There's no shame in it. You go on and you make your adjustments. I have certainly had to make adjustments. Where the shame is walking around with wounds, with hurts, with behaviors that leave a question mark for you and other people when you don't have to do it. You don't have to do it. You can go back. You can make your corrections powerfully and just get the train on track. It's as simple as that. Don't overthink it. I think that a beautiful quote by Socrates really sums up the solution and the primary step that you need to take if you're feeling like, yeah, I need to get my emotional development. I need to shore that up. And he said, the unexamined life is not worth living. I could not agree more. Yes, all life is precious and valuable and beautiful, but you're not living life. How can you live it if you don't stop periodically and examine? Examine your behaviors, examine what you're doing. That's what being mindful is about. That's what being aware is all about. I cannot tell you how many people I've sat with over the years, and I will make a simple suggestion or ask a simple question. For example, have you ever thought about slowing down before you automatically say yes? Because you're in a cycle to please. You needed to please your mom, your dad, your sister. Right? So you're in this cycle of, yes, yes, I'll do it, I'll do it. But then you feel resentment, you're upset after. So have you ever thought about stopping and giving yourself a pause? It's little things like that that people are like, oh my God, I never really thought about it like that. You didn't think about it like that because you haven't stopped to examine your life. You haven't taken time to sit, to check in and ask, number one, how am I behaving with this person? How am I responding in my life? How am I feeling most of the time? What could be behind that? The life that is examined, a life that is examined is a life that can most certainly be healed. Most certainly be healed. And so we asked the question, well, how do you start examining your life, folks? Well, the process, it's not rocket science. It is simple work. The mechanics are simple. Yet when you get into it, it's likely the most fruitful work you can ever do. So you sit down with yourself, pen and paper. I'm big on the pen and paper. And you make a list of your triggers. Why the triggers? Because your truth is found in the triggers. Truth is found in the triggers if you have the courage to look at them. And so you ask yourself some key questions. What are my triggers? What is the response of that 7 or 8-year-old that's kicking up inside of me? How is that 7 or 8-year-old responding? And how is that response really messing me up? It's not desirable. In what ways has it really created a drag, a heavy weight to my life? And then the next question is, what behavior am I committed? What am I committed to doing in place of that dysfunctional or maladaptive behavior that does not serve me? You insert a new response and you work that response. It may be uncomfortable, but you'll work it until it's comfortable. You'll work it until it's second nature. And I'm going to reference my video, We Don't Change, We Replace Behavior. We're talking about replacing behavior 24/7, as long as you need to bring that emotional maturity in, to bring those fluid streams of thought in that create so much peace, so much harmony, and so much relaxation in your life. Folks, sit down, examine your life, take control. There is nothing that was missed. There's nothing that was learned or practiced or became a habit that cannot be unlearned. That's up to you. You know, you only get an opportunity to be parented or to be poorly parented once. A lot of this work is delicious work of reparenting yourself, bringing yourself up to snuff, because no one's going to do that for you. You reach a point, people will just kind of move away from you because, like, I don't understand what's going on. It's kind of uncomfortable, what I'm seeing. So again, this is about to take responsibility. Take responsibility for lifting up your life. I'm here. I've got your back. I'm going to be helping you do just that. And I hope something I've shared made a difference for you. Thank you so much. I'll see you soon. Don't forget to subscribe.